Somebody asked me a question and it inspired me to go ahead and bring this out today. Somebody asked me a question in the super chat yesterday and it was going back and forth, back and forth. And I was trying to debate whether or not I actually wanted to present this as a solution, but somebody said, Anton, why are you not advocating for these guys to take the risk to get married? Well, even when you decide that you no longer want to be a part of it, divorce is expensive. Let me go ahead and give you some insight on what's going on out here in these streets of the United States of America. I'm going to read those super chats shortly.
Not less than $150,000. With lost income, it would easily approach $400,000.
Upwards of $100,000 easily.
Between $172,799 to roughly $191,000, of which I still owe $120,929.
Do you know that they actually will put a lien on your house based off of the fact that you still owe your lawyer money for a divorce? Do you know they will put a lien on your property, hoping that you'll one day sell your property so that you can then deed it over to the landlord or deed it over to your new landlord, which just so happened to be your divorce lawyer because of how much money it's going to cost you to get divorced? That man said that it costs him about $150,000 to $170,000 in order to get divorced. Even when you want to walk away and somebody keep telling me that these guys need to take the risk of what? Don't you know that the biggest risk that you ever gonna make in your entire life, which is one of the reasons why it's so important for me to have a conversation, both based off of how you get the bag, but also how you keep the bag and how you mitigate risk. Being a business person is mitigating risk while making calculated decisions as to what's going to continue to add value to you for the rest of your life. Most people are not vetting for the person that's supposed to be with them for the rest of their life. They're vetting for the person that they like right now. And so it's a much greater risk that you're going to be under duress if you don't really understand what it's going to cost you in the end.
Getting divorced in the U.S. isn't cheap. In 2021, there were roughly 2 million marriages and nearly 700,000 divorces. That's a lot of people coughing up a lot of dough.
It's been 4 years of misery, and very expensive 4 years of misery.
While divorces are expensive, how expensive depends on where you live. If you
think about it, it's become an industry within itself. The divorce, listen, they're incentivized. This is the thing that people don't understand about politics, government, and everything, right? What y'all don't understand is y'all think that politics and government is all based off of the idea that they're supposed to be doing the thing that's in the best interest of the people. No. It's two things that really come from a lot of politicians that's been in office for a long time, which is one of the reasons why we need term limits. The first thing is that they're in there to stay in office and in power. That's a whole nother conversation. And then the second thing is they're in there in order to keep you turning the wheels of capitalism because it's now become a racket. Listen, there's an entire industry of people that's interdependent on divorcees, which is one of the reasons why they continue to give you bad information with regard to how it is that you're supposed to be operating within a relationship. Think about it. Why wouldn't they want a certain demographic of people to continue to have children out of wedlock and then it costs you as far as family courts because there's lawyers, judges, and an entire industry that's interdependent on it in order for them to feed their families? How is it any different when it comes to the divorces, right? There's an entire industry that is depending on giving you bad information and trying to incentivize you to take risks that you should not be taking, especially uninformed, that then depend on you because it then keeps their pockets full. It keeps several industries within government operating. And then more importantly, it keeps taxpayers paying because it has to keep the wheels of democracy and capitalism turning in order to make sure that a lot of people continue to get fed. They're not going to downgrade or get rid of an industry just because you want what's best for the community. They want you to continue to do it because you're feeding a lot of people in order to continue to do the things that you're doing. Let me share with you exactly how much it's going to cost you to get divorced.
You have children, if you own property, if there's anything you and your spouse disagree on, and several other factors.
The more complex it is, the more hours that are required. Hours by the lawyers, hours by the appraisers, the business valuators, the crypto hunters, the forensics, the forensic accountants, the forensic psychologists.
According to Elizabeth Douglas, founding attorney and CEO of Douglas Family Law in New York, an uncontested divorce costs between $1,500 and $5,500 on average, and a contested divorce anywhere from $40,000 to $140,000. If the case goes to trial, even more.
Even more than $140,000 for you to just get. Listen, if it's uncontested, it's at least 5 bands. If it's contested, it can cost you up to 140 bands. And that's probably per person. And if it goes to trial,
This is Lindsay Williams, John Norman, and Zoe Hutzler, 3 people who have gone through at least one divorce.
All
they
white.
cost various amounts, but for all, significantly affected their financial circumstances. Let's start with Lindsay, who got divorced twice. Both were uncontested, with no children involved. An uncontested divorce is what it sounds like, uncontested, and it's typically a lot cheaper. A contested divorce is when the couple can't come to an agreement. Lindsay went the cheapest route possible, DIY.
You should pay someone to help you get divorced so you don't have to do it a couple of times. But there are also certain counties that have do-it-yourself programs. You can go online and you can fill out the forms yourself.
Lindsay's first divorce in 1997 cost $1,000. Their second in 2006 was $4,000.
she should probably wrap it up. That's like a 400% increase every single time that she get divorced. That's a 400% increase every single time that she get divorced. She should probably wrap it up. Listen. Here's the point that I'm trying to make to you guys. Everything comes back down to the money. Everything. The bureaucratic process that comes along with trying to get certain things done depending on what liberal city you live in, right? These politicians continuing to maintain power. And even the divorce system that you're going to become a part of if you're not vetting and being very, very careful as far as what it is that you operate like. I don't want you guys to continue to suffer. I don't want you walking into your Felicias and your Keishas and your Ruthies and your Mabels and your aunties out here trying to continue to. Listen, I had a conversation with somebody on a coaching call the other day, and I asked her, I said, listen, why do you want to get married? What's the point of it? Not saying that there's not a point that comes along with it, but I just asked her just to see if she understood what marriage means. And she said, well, that's what all women want. I said, but why do you want it? She was just quiet. She never said nothing. She never gave me another answer. She could not give me any insight or understanding as to why it made sense for her to get married, but she just wanted to do it, even though it was going to cost her and him if she did not vet effectively and if it did not make sense for her to get married to the person that she was getting married to. It's a racket. It's an opportunity for them to continue to make money from you and not add value to you. All right?